All right, so next recipe here, we've got a whole chicken. Like, this is gonna be probably one of the easiest recipes that you can make. You know, I think a lot of times people think that cooking is a lot more complicated than it is. We've developed this culture of just eating out so much. Anyway, I'm gonna try and see if I can accomplish this. I'm going to cut this thing open while I've got the phone recording, so bear with me. I'm newer doing these videos. You know, I had some friends that were like wanting to eat carnivore, and they're like kind of confused by the whole thing, and not really sure like what kind of things you can cook. I think a lot of times it can feel overwhelming when you first get started. So I thought I would just start making some videos. I'm not perfect, but just gonna do with what I have. Feels like what I've done most of my life. Okay, now I'm gonna have chicken juice on my phone. It's like a whole make and do with what you got kind of situation. All right, and we also don't want to overcomplicate things. I am gonna dump out some of this juice and I'll be back. Okay, I'm definitely gonna have to sanitize my hands and my phone after I'm done with this. All right, so we got the, you know, some of the juice out. This chicken, you always have to look on the inside of a chicken because sometimes it'll be like a whole bag. I'm not gonna reach in there with my, okay. There's not any giblets or anything in this one. If you're cooking, just FYI, if you're cooking a turkey, you always want to look back here too. And it's not usually the case when you're doing chicken. But when I was newer to cooking, when I was young, I made that mistake of not checking this side. And you know, we had a nice Thanksgiving dinner where there was a whole package here, and my mother-in-law pulled it out at the perfect moment, just which was quite embarrassing. Anyway, but this is a chicken. So if you want to tie up the legs with like some twine or something, you can do that. I'm just letting it go because I am not going to be fancy today. You can also put like garlic or lemon or something like that inside, and it's just aromatics that kind of help to season it, give it some good flavor. But you know, I got a lot of things going on today and I'm just keeping it simple. So I'm gonna wash my hands and my phone and I'll be right back. Okay, I forgot to mention that you want to make sure that you preheat your oven to 350, which I did before we started doing this. But all right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use some of my rendered bacon fat from earlier when I made bacon. I'm just gonna, and I don't know how much I rendered it. I'm not very careful with that. If you want to be really good about it, because I just like to make things simple and easy. So you probably see some bacon chunks in there because I'm not really, I used to do, I'd do like a tea strainer and put my, you know, pour it in with that, and then the chunks were in the, they were in the tea strainer, and then you just have the fat. And yeah, the fat itself is really just, it's, how do you put it? It's something that, I mean, it can preserve a lot. So I think really the chunks of bacon, if they're in there, are preserved in that fat. So anytime that I've used this for cooking, you know, we've never gotten sick from these little bacon chunks, but I know a lot of people get really worried about that. So feel free to render your fat the proper way. I'm not advocating for this, but it works for us. Okay, and I know not all carnivores use spices, and I think a lot of it is because, and I'm using onion powder here, I think a lot of it is just because a lot of people react to different things, and many people use the carnivore diet as a way to figure out what they're sensitive to. So that is understandable. Sorry, I'm getting my salt here. I always have to kind of pound on it a little bit because it's real salt. It's Redmond's real salt. And it gets a little cakey because it doesn't have all that stuff in there to keep it separated. And it's natural. We love Redmond's real salt. It has those natural minerals, some trace minerals that your body needs. And you need a lot of extra salt on carnivore, so feel free to salt it up. Anyways, I was talking about the spices. A lot of times people realize after they've been doing this for a little bit that they're sensitive to certain things. Some people can't do black pepper. Once they eliminate everything and they just eat a very pure meat-only diet, they'll realize as they add some things back, like spices and black pepper or dairy, like if they've completely cut out dairy, or even eggs, if they've cut out eggs, as they add things back a little bit at a time, and they'll realize kind of how their body reacts to it. They realize they can't have just anything. They can't have some spices sometimes, or they'll figure out what they're reacting to, basically. And we've kind of gone that journey as well. There's certain things that my body just doesn't like for some reason. So this, I'm gonna put some pepper on top, and then I'm gonna stick it in the oven, and I'll be right back. Okay, this is prepped and it's ready to go in the oven. It's gonna go in there for, I'm gonna do 1 hour and 10 minutes because this is, I think it's a little over 3 pounds. So it needs a minimum of 1 hour. Like you'll probably wanna check it at around 1 hour, but I'll obviously use a meat thermometer, use it in some of the thickest parts, make sure that it's done, it's at the right temperature internally. And then also I'm not gonna cover this. A lot of people will cover their roasted chicken. They'll let it brown, which probably about 40 minutes in, it'll be browning. And then some people just put like a little tint of aluminum foil over the top to keep it from getting too brown. But we like our crispy chicken skin, so I'm not gonna cover it. I'm just gonna put it in there. Okay, here's the final outcome. It's been more like 1 hour and 15, but look how pretty it is. Oh, yeah, this oven needs cleaned, but just focus on the chicken. It's beautiful. I don't know if you can hear this. You hear that crispy skin? Oh, it's delicious. All right, now I gotta find a meat thermometer. Okay, it's out of the oven. I do not have a meat thermometer. And I thought, oh my gosh, what do we do now? It feels so dangerous, to eat meat when you don't have a meat thermometer. But I remembered my mom said back in the day, like people didn't used to use meat thermometers. They would just look for blood. Like you poke it, especially around this vein. And as you can see, it's really just like it's pink, but it's not raw. It's like a lot of times people go, can I eat chicken if it's pink? Well, this is cooked. You can see that the vein, I don't know, I'm gonna try to, the vein that kind of goes through it It's like a dark pink because it's cooked through. So if you're ever wondering if your chicken is done, if you see blood coming out, that means it's not done. But this is one way that you can check. So it very easily came off with a knife. There's a little joint in there. Probably doesn't look too appetizing, but so I was able to get the drumstick and then the thigh all in one. And I wanted to show you again, like this dark purple means that the chicken's done. There's a little bit of pink in there, but it's not, that's not the same as the blood that would be coming out if the chicken weren't done. I can hear that my husband's coming, so I'm gonna serve him some of this and see what he thinks. All right, so Andy just got home.
Yes.
Do you want to put more salt on yours?
Yes.
Sometimes the inside of the chicken needs a little salt, so he'll give his honest review. You look angry.
I'm not angry. Hang on. I'm trying it.
You got some of that.
He's got a big piece now.
All right. Is it too hot?
No. Well done, Tammy.
All right. Thanks. Say goodbye to people.
Goodbye, people.